Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from group 6 and now we will explain about the content of our journal about storytelling. Our group members are Ade Riki for the first presenter, and then Nabila Kamilia as the second one, and then Eva Uliana as the third, and Cucu Cahyati for the last. And I am Fahmi Ramadhan as the moderator. Will explain about the presentation first. And now let's take a look about the content of our presentation. First, there is an introduction and then the summary. Move with the critique from us, and then the conclusion. And before we start the explanation of the journal, let's hear the introduction of this journal. Alright, this article was titled Storytelling in the Second Language Classroom, and this was written by Gil Pennington that contains some expert views on the use of storytelling in ESL classroom. This is the research especially for the young learners. Through this the review, it found that the use of storytelling for young learners of ESL must be able to make sense of their experiences and convert them into a coherent and comprehensive format with a different adjustment to match the cognitive and related to the activities of the learners, especially in this research, the young learners. And let's move to our first presenter that will explain about this article. Ade Riki, the time is yours.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Here I will share you about a conceptual framework of using storytelling in second language classroom. A conceptual framework is a written or visual representation of an expected relationship between variables. Variables are simply the characteristics or properties that you want to study. The conceptual framework is generally developed based on a literature review of existing studies and theories about the topic. And here is the conceptual framework of using storytelling in second language classroom. First, psychologist Jerome Bruner in 1986 identifies two modes of cognitive functioning. One, the logico-scientific system of description and explanation regulated by requirement of consistency and non-contradiction. And the other, the narrative mode, dealing with human or human-like intention and action and the vicissitudes and consequences that mark their course. So, while we may learn about the physical world through logical rules and abstract principles, we learn about the human condition through narratives of what those involved in the action now, think, or feel. Vygotsky, in 1978, he believed that higher-order psychological processes such as literacy could only be acquired through interacting with others, after which the individual would internalize them and eventually become proficient at an independent level. He identified a zone of proximal development or Z.Pd as the distance of the cognitive gap between a child can do unaided and what they can do with help. Stories also have the potential to serve as vehicles for second language classroom. Crescent's in 1982 theory of language acquisition, based on the theories from psycholinguistics and neurolinguistics, has informed much second language teaching in Australian classroom. Crescent recognized that development of competence in a new language occurs through understanding and meaningful communication. Garvey, in 1990, also recognized the value of story methodology within ESL and EFL teaching, suggesting that the learner is challenged to solve problems within the context of the tale, at the same time to develop a knowledge of English structure. Stories give experience of other people's lives, ideas, and cultures, and allow students to imagine new worlds and new possibilities. The last, Wolf and Heath, in 1992, described the deep learning associated with storytelling. A young child listens to a story, and for days and years after, meanings come wherever the child's life experience converge with multiple text worlds in dialogue. This study sets out to determine the nature of the support that storytelling might offer to the young second language learner in primary ESL classroom. And maybe that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ade Riki. Hello everyone, I'm Nabila, and here I would like to explain about the research methodology of this article. This article was conducted through qualitative method with direct observation, and for the approach is ethnographic analysis in order to identify literacy practices and linguistic interaction that characterize a second language learning environment. And for the participant is the 12 ESL students aged between 5 to 11 years old. The storytelling activities in this study is carried out through learning groups, which are given 8 storytelling sessions for 12 weeks with 8 different stories, both listen to and read. In the learning process, the students are observe, dig, and tell the finding. Meanwhile, the teacher acts as an observer and facilitator of the class. Alright, I think that's all a short explanation of this article research methodology. Now let's move to the next material, that is the research result. Alright, the result of this article shows that using storytelling method is affected the learner's improvements, such as the first one is the cognitive growth, which is the development of relationship between events, objects, and action. It is found that storytelling provides students opportunities to learn about growth and change, as well as creative method of problem solving. Moreover, through storytelling assisted by presence of related objects in the classroom, students are able to sequence the events, objects, and action through sequential image that they draw themselves. And the second one is empathic intelligence, which is about understanding of how people think. As we know, the second language classroom must provide opportunities for students to explore the complexity of emotional responses in order to understand the effect of human activity on their world and to develop awareness. Therefore, it is found that through storytelling accompanied with supported body language, students are able to show their emotional responses through facial expression and body language that they show while listening to the story. It is shown that through storytelling, students could know, think, and feel about what other people feel. Alright, I think that's all from me about the result, and for the next point of the research result will be delivered by my friend Eva. To Eva Uliana, the time is yours.
Thank you, Bila, for the time that given to me. Hello everyone, I'm Eva Uliana will continue share another 4 points about the result. The third point is finding a voice. Stories can help students to express significant events and emotions in their lives and to find a voice. Young second language learners need to be able to make sense of their experiences and to translate them into a coherent and a comprehensible form. They are encouraged to express personal feelings and emotions in writing and present them in a language. The fourth is condition for second language development. The condition of the development of a class is marked by the existence of a productive context in classroom activities, such as storytelling, reading, talking, and so on, not only verbally but can also explore in gesture or visual aids that can help describe input for learners. Apart from that, it can also provide an opportunity for students to dig deeper into their linguistic resources and their understanding of something. And the fifth is connecting with text. Young second language learners in a new country need to make connection with the narratives of their own culture in order to maintain their culture identity. They also need to become familiar with the style of narratives from the target language. Therefore, in storytelling, there is a writing activity that relates to culture adjustment and narratives. And the last, or the fifth, is the affective filter in stories. Question identifies the affective filter as an imaginary barrier that prevents learners and from acquiring language from the available input. Affect refers to the motives, needs, attitudes, and emotional states of the learner. Anxiety or boredom, for example, will raise the filter, thus blocking effective learning. Conversely, it will be down when the learner is relaxed and engaged. Okay, I think that's all from me. Next topic will continue by the next presenter, Cucu. The time is yours, Cucu.
Alright, now let's move to the next materials. In here, I'm going to share you about a critique of the book from Gil Pennington. The title is Storytelling in Second Language Classroom. But before we jump into it, I will give a disclaimer first that we are sorry if this critique is not so ambitious, but we're sure that this critique is based on our concern and our observe. So, let's begin with the first one. The first one is we are think that this book is not really considers the things that can influence the children on their gaining a new language, especially in storytelling method. Such as when children do the storytellings, there are another influence that creates the ability. I mean, like the children have different ability because there are many influence. Like it can be outside or inside. It can be the level of cognitive and also the family background and also their confidence. Family background is really crucial things that can influence students or children to have a good ability of storytelling. Like for example, when I was do KKN. So I thought the era students, so basically they're really children in a very very young age, and their family backgrounds like a family support or their moms. For example, those who have an educated mom and not educated mom, we are sorry to saying this, they have children who have a different ability to to do the storytelling. For example, like those who have a good education backgrounds, like their family, like their moms and their fathers, the children tend to be confident and they always like share the story confidently. But those who are not really from a family backgrounds, they don't have enough ability and also they don't have enough confidence to share the story to their friends. So I think the depth of influence like this is not telling in this book. The second is in this book it is told that storytelling is really beneficial for gaining a new language, especially for children. While I think storytelling is such kind of meaningful and also it must be a bit boring or a bit too long for children. For example, children can be focused for 5 minutes or 3 minutes even. They always want to play. They always want to move from another chair to another chair. So they tend to have less focus. I mean, like when it comes to storytelling, children's we need a focus. Of course, the children also need a focus, but children in a young age, they have a lackness of a focus because they can't focus more than 3 minutes. I'm sure for that. The third one is we need a lot of modifications when it comes to storytelling for children because not all of the story or kind of it we can share just barely to the students. No, but we have to modify. We have to choose the words or maybe the them that suitable for them, and it's a bit tiring. I mean, like not all of children will gain will I mean like will serve the things that we talk. So it's very 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 beneficial and also it's very important to the teachers. They have to choose and they have to find a proper method to share the story to the children itself. And then The last is when it comes to storytelling, it is not one size fits to all. I mean, like the children have different of knowledge, different ability of the cognitive skill. So it's not really good for everyone, but maybe it is will be fit for one or two children, but I'm sure that it is will not be effective for another children's, because storytelling is different with playing. Learning with playing, storytelling means like um the teachers or the instructors do like speak, that then the children have to listen. Yeah, of course, two or three children will hear like focusly, but I'm sure that another will be not focused for this. So this method, it's not the things that one size fits to all. The teacher have to modify and have to search another method to find its best way of teaching English to young learner or the childrens. So thank you so much. Let's we continue with the next materials.
Alright, now we move to the conclusion of this presentation. So, the young learners of a second language must be able to make a sense of their experiences and convert the stories, which is in this case use of storytelling, into a coherent and comprehensive format. They can attain this goal by using this storytelling with different adjustments to match the cognitive and related activities of young learners. And then, addictive activities could be added, such as playing the games that are related to the story, and it can make the learners more engaged with the story and materials in the learning activities. And other benefits, it can grow and increase child's sense of socialization, and we can add language into this socialization process. And that's it. Here are the references that we use in this presentation, and I think thank you for your nice attention. Hope you enjoy our presentation, and thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.